Yeah, so I was in the audience, I think it was 3 years ago when I first went to my first Lean Startup conference, and it's amazing what I've learned through reading the book and being an attendee itself. So, first off, I'm Ryan Hoover, so I'm the CEO founder of Product Hunt, and I'll just quickly go through where it started, how it became, and then talk more about the tactics we used to build the community. So first off, Product Hunt was an idea in the beginning. I was in between startups. I wanted to create my own thing, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I had this idea. I loved sharing new products. I loved finding new things. But I didn't know where to do that online. So in true Lean Startup form, I created this MVP, which was an email list, which took about 20 minutes to set up. I tweeted it out. Here's a picture of the tweet from almost 2 years ago exactly. And from there, we got a couple hundred subscribers. People seemed to like it. After that, we converted this email list, which you couldn't really talk to other people, it was very basic, into a website. Also in true Lean Startup form, we didn't make it that complicated. Me and my buddy Nathan, we built it over 5 days over Thanksgiving break, and it looks like this. It looked like this, which was very similar to Hacker News or Reddit, and we just took existing models that we knew people understood. Now fast forward to today, 2 years later, we are a global community of people sharing new apps, podcasts, games, books. We've seen over 40,000 things posted, over 300,000 comments, 1.8 million upvotes, so we're almost at the 2 million mark, and we've seen over 70 million products discovered on the platform. So before I go into the specific tactics we use to grow this community of people sharing new things, I'll first talk about the stages of communities. This is very important to understanding the tactics you want to use when building one. The first one is your friends, and your friends are friends. So when I started Product Hunt, I emailed some buddies of mine, people who I knew loved products, and I said, hey, I'm working on this cool thing. I hope you like it. Check it out. And they checked it out because they're my friends, and they kind of have to. Next stage, after you've grown your friends and they've invited their friends, you kind of have this town hall effect. You have these people with a common interest and bond around some sort of thing, and it's grown now to more than just your friends, but also strangers who you start to get to know. And then you have this third stage, which is sort of this segment of various people and different interests, which have some overlap, hence the overlapping emojis, but they all have different interests as well. And this is sort of if you look at Reddit, it has thousands of subreddits with people congregating around different interests. So the tactics I'll go into are really more tailored to the first 1 and 2 stages, where you're really in the beginning stages and you're trying to get this thing off the ground. So 10 things. First one is seeding the community. This is super important. You want to seed it with the right people that care about what you're building, and also create the right culture for you, because you have this culture that you're building when you start off with your early group of people. This is an email with me and Ben, which you can't see very well, but I'm actually asking him for feedback, and I have some attached mockups that we just sketched up of what the site might look like before we built it. So you want to get the right people. You want to get their buy-in. Number 2. You want to be memorable. You want to welcome new people. So what I would do is I would see who was signing up, and I would look at who they were. I would look on Twitter and see what company they worked for, and then I would email them and say, hey, what's up, Josh? Something personal, something memorable, something funny. And they would respond, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, I just signed up for this website, and the founder just emailed me. I wasn't expecting that. And that just made us more memorable. It started building this tone within the community that people then gravitated towards. Number 3. This is something that you really want to do at all stages, but really you want to recognize good behavior, the actions, the things that you want people to do. You want to recognize it through public tweets, through things on the site like featuring collections these people have made. That's really important. On the other side, you also want to call out bad actors in a fun way. So we've seen occasionally some people will say something negative about a product or something that's just not PC, and the best way to approach it, in my opinion, is usually through humor. Sometimes you just want to set a tone and be like, this is not cool, man. Don't talk like that. But say it in a way that's friendly. Then other people in the community realize, OK, I don't want to be that guy either. Number 4, mascots. Mascots are the most important thing. Maybe not the most important thing, but they're fun. Mascots, people gravitate towards them. They wear them on T-shirts. This is one of my favorite tweets of all time. Ruben tweeted this at me one Monday morning, and he's just, I use it in every deck I use, because it's just amazing. Look at that face. But mascots are something that people gravitate towards. Like Reddit has their alien. You have Snapchat with the ghost. You have Meerkat with the little meerkat. They're really fun. And for certain types of communities, it's something that can set a tone and a playful attitude. If that's your community, that's something you want to embrace. Next one. I mentioned earlier we shared a mock-up of what Product Hunt might look like, an early sketch. We've been doing this the entire time. We actually did it a few weeks ago when we were relaunching our front page. And here's a screenshot of a mock-up that we had. We shared it with the community, and we said, hey, if you guys please take the time, check this out, add your feedback, add your thoughts. And this is just a really good way to get feedback before you build something, before you put it into code. But also from a community standpoint, you're really changing their home in a way. You want to give them some sort of preview. You want to make them feel like they're part of the design process, and actually they are. We actually changed a lot of the things on the front page before we built it based on the feedback they gave us. Next one is give something people are proud of. When they're in a community, they have identity. On Twitter, you have a follower count. You have a bio. You can update that header image. With us, we have a few different very subtle things. You probably can't see it here, but that number 2 is actually my user ID. We showed the user ID, the number that you are on Product Hunt, because this is a community of early adopters primarily. People have pride in being early and having a lower number. There's, of course, this M, which represents that you made something and you've had it on Product Hunt. There's small things that represent identity and give people pride to be a part of it. Another one, surprise and delight. There's one question I would challenge community builders to ask themselves is, what can I do to delight our community? And sometimes it's very, very manual things. In this particular case, we emailed all of our community members and said, hey, send us your physical address, we'll mail you something. We didn't say what it was going to be. We just said, we're going to mail you something. And then weeks later, we started seeing a bunch of tweets like this. Natalie's like, so this just happened. We sent them stickers and a handwritten letter. And it's not the most scalable thing, but in the beginning stages, you just want to build some fanaticism around your community and your product. Another one is storytelling. Storytelling is fantastic marketing, and it's also just something people really appreciate. They love behind the scenes. And that's why I've been personally writing a lot about Product Hunt's growth. But also, you can encourage and enable your community to tell that story too. This is a story from the NeedWant folks. They launched this product, these emoji masks, last year, and they ended up making over $50,000 in a couple weeks. They were not expecting to have that many shipments, and they struggled to fulfill orders. But that story is just amazing, and we started sharing that and telling that story on their behalf. And then the 10th kind of tactic is very relevant to where we are today. Meetups, meeting in real life. We've had meetups across the world, over 200 now, led by the community and some of them led by us. And these are really great ways, which again are not the most scalable, but they're really great ways for people to take these online digital communities and then have a congregation in real life. And we see pictures, we see a lot of love kind of being shared from these in real life events. So just real quick last notes here is, when you're thinking about building a community, first understand, like, reality is, like, where are you? Are you in the very beginning stages? And what types of tactics should you use to build those? These 10 tactics here really focus on the early stages. One, it depends on your brand, but be personal, be authentic. People can read through marketing BS. They know when you're being fake. Just be authentic, be real. Create moments of delight. You want people to be memorable. They want to love your brand and your community and connect with each other. Build in public is something that not every company can do, but I would really push and encourage people to do so, because communities, they really want to be a part of the building process itself. And then lastly, how can you over time build identity, enable people to be prideful and feel like they love their profile on Product Hunt or your site or your community and connect with each other. And that's it. Thank you very much.